Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Monday. Yes, it is. I trust that everyone had a great weekend and that you enjoyed yourselves, and that you learned lots, and it was a good time. I was washing the dishes Saturday. No, it was Sunday morning. I was washing the dishes, and the question came to mind: do words have power? Now, we would want to say yes, they do, right? But before we can say yes, they do, we must understand where their power comes from. You see, the word on the page is just sitting there. If nobody reads it, it's just sitting there. There are many books that people have not read. The words are just sitting there. What gives them their power is the mood that sent them. That is what gives words their power. The mood by which they were sent. Well, what do you mean, Angela? Well, words are just sitting there on a page. They're not doing anything, they're just sitting on the page. It is the person who sends those words, the person who writes those words, is the one infusing them with power. Think about that for a moment. Now, if you've read anything by Thoth, if you read the Emerald Tablets, he always said this that struck me. Read it 100 times and then read it some more. Because it is infused with energy, he says. And I often wondered at that. What do you mean it's infused with energy, sir? He wrote the book with an intention, with an effect in mind. For those who read it, he wanted them to awaken and whatever. That's the effect he wanted to have on the reader. Just like any author who writes a book, they want an effect for the reader, for themselves. When they write and they say, I remember one of Neville Goddard's stories, pardon me, where he was like, I think he wanted to be a world-class writer. That was the effect he wanted on people, right? Thus he became. Because it was the effect that he wanted. So the cause was people bought it, read it, loved it. He became world renowned, right? You have to ask yourself, why does Stephen King write the kind of books that he writes? He wants to give you a thrill, scare you even. And that's what happens when you read the books. You get a thrill and you're scared. So he's the one giving the words power. That's what he's doing. So perhaps you're a poet and you don't know it, but your words are infused with your essence, as within, so without. So whatever mood or mental state you occupy as you write something, you infuse it with that mood. You ever been to a movie? Well, what's your mood after watching the movie? Sometimes we say things like, oh my God, I really felt the writer in there. I really felt what they were trying to say. That's the point. It is the writer who infuses the words with their mental attitude because it is a projection of their mental attitude. Remember, as within, so without. Same thing for the designer. When they make a piece of clothing, right? When they make a piece of clothing and you put it on, look at how it makes you feel. Do you think that feeling is yours? It belongs to the person who made the article of clothing. They wanted the wearer to feel something. They wanted to bring about an effect for the wearer of that outfit. And so then they made it from that place so that whoever puts it on will feel that thing. So it is not that words on their own have power. The person who feels it and writes down what they feel will cause the reader to feel it. So then you have to understand words don't just begin from nowhere. Sound was first. Sound was first. Let there be light was said. So sound was first. So those words that we hear, now let's bring it down to the below level so that we can apply it. You and I are constantly saying words to ourselves by way of an inner conversation. What is your mental attitude or your mental mood when you speak to yourself? You've just given it power. That inner conversation has power. The moment you start saying things to yourself, those words have power because you had to feel them first. You're the origin of those words. And you have infused them with your essence, with what you want to feel. So when you say good things to yourself, good things about yourself, well, you had to have been feeling good to say them. Because remember, words are not idle and they do not return void. Why do words not return void? Because as within, so without. That is why that inner conversation is of great import to you. You see, sometimes we think the things that we say to ourselves go unnoticed, that nobody knows because they can't read my mind. Well, that's a great way to delude the self. I might not be able to read your mind, your brain, but I can understand your actions. And your actions will tell what your inner conversation is. You see, we think that we can just say affirmations idly. I am strong, I am faithful, I am blah, 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 I am this, I am blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, no, no. They're not idle words. Where are they coming from? What mental mood are they coming from? Then that is what will give the words their power. So the next time that you're having an inner conversation, check the mood. Oh, check the mood, of course. Yes, because the mood will tell you what power you have just infused your words with, so that before you open your mouth to speak to or about someone, you will know. Because if you say, you know how we get angry and you might tell your child, oh, you're stupid, oh, you're this or you're that, or maybe you were told that. Look at where that was coming from. Look at where it's coming from. If you don't know where it's coming from, how did it make you feel when you heard it? Did it hurt you when you heard them? Did it hurt you when you heard the words? Well, then they came from a place of pain. Obviously. The person saying the words is in pain, or else you would not have felt the pain. The pain is not yours. It is theirs. They're the ones projecting it out. They're the ones infusing the words with their essence, their power. So you see, words on their own do not have power. On their own, they don't. They are infused with the power of the thinker or the speaker. So that is why that inner conversation matters. Because that inner conversation is molding and shaping you. In the movie, I won't say what movie it is, but in the movie, he said, I hate weaklings. Those are his words. I hate weaklings. I will destroy them all. And he proceeded to beat himself up. Aye. And the moment I saw it, I said, I understand you, sir. I understand. He saw himself as weak, based upon a series of events that took place in his life. He drew the conclusion that he was weak, and thus he went on a rampage because he was upset with himself. You would say, but Angela, that's a movie. Look at the words and the actions. They align. You're looking at principle. You're looking at law in that. You see, sometimes we can't, and this is why sometimes if you you go back to the Bible and you read it as a story, you will see the principles in it. The principle of correspondence as within, so without. He spoke the words. He did not speak them out loud, that he felt he was a weakling. But if you look at what he destroyed, who and the type of person he destroyed, you begin to see why he did it. Because it is what he spoke to himself incessantly. So that inner conversation that you have with yourself on a daily basis. What are you saying to yourself? Because now you are empowering yourself to be that thing. Good, bad, or indifferent. You are empowering yourself to be it because you keep speaking the life into yourself. Good, bad, or indifferent. So you are empowering your words. So this is why my granddaddy always said to me, taste your words before you speak. That is what he meant. What is that mood? Because if you don't check it and you speak those words outward, you will bear the consequence of those words because they do not return void, but they fulfill that which they have been sent to do. Oh, Angela, don't you dare quote the Bible. I'm just telling you where the law is. The Bible also tells us that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Out of the abundance of the heart, the what now? Yeah, you see that mood that is contained within? That mental attitude that is contained within? That is where we will speak from. We have to empower the words before they can be projected outward. Oh, we empower the words before we project them outward. We give them life. Good, bad, or indifferent, we give them life. And as I mentioned, you don't even have to open your mouth to physically speak the words. So that's why when you hear spelling, you're casting spells, it means whatever mood you are in and you project those words from there, they have an effect because you are the cause. Look at the potency with which we walk around and hear the words of our mothers or hear the words of our fathers or whoever, whether they were pleasant words or unpleasant words, we are still affected by them. Think about that. And why were we affected by them? Because we held them as true to ourselves and we repeated them to ourselves. Good, bad, or indifferent, doesn't matter. So that's why today, know and understand, comprehend that words have power only which you infuse them with. That's the only power the words have, what you infuse them with. So the next time you read a book, you feel something that stirs within you. That's the point. The writer infused those words with their essence so that you could feel where they were coming from, so that you could comprehend their plight. See? So put it into perspective for yourself so that before you speak to yourself or another, you taste the words Chris Tucker. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Oh my word. What a great movie. So, taste those words before you give consent to their power. Yes, it is important that you do so, because then you will see the effect you are having, whether on yourself or on a supposed other, if you take the time. hmm So do words have power? Only that which you give them. And so the first words that matter are the ones we say to ourselves. Understand that part. Grasp that part. The inner conversation that we have with ourselves is of the greatest importance. Remember, though, a couple of things. That rhythm compensates. So the intensity by which you speak the words is the same level of intensity that you will be impacted by those words. Think about that. The intensity with which you believe those words to be true, and then you speak them, well, that is the level that it will have an effect on someone, mainly yourself. And a lot of the times we think that when we say things, we're just saying them and it only doesn't affect anybody. No, I'm just saying it. It affects you because that mental mood, mental attitude is within you. You could not have said it if it were not within you. Because in order for the words to come out, they must be within. The mood must be within because it is what causes you to say. Right? So rhythm compensates. So the intensity with which you feel them is the intensity in which you will project them outward so that they are felt with that same intensity. But then, as within, so without. Those words that you say to yourself, when you say I am, that is the most powerful prayer, aka affirmation. It's just the singular one. I am. And you go around and you have that conversation. I am so dot dot dot. You fill in the blank. I am dot dot dot. Fill in the blank. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you say I am? I. There's your habit, your habitual way of speaking to yourself. See it? So what are you saying to yourself? Are you, as scripture would say, edifying? Or are you destroying? See, this is why scripture can tell you that the power of life and death is in the tongue. And funny enough, in traditional Chinese medicine, the heart, the organ that the heart externalizes onto, that the tongue does? It's the heart. The heart. And scripture says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Also, traditional Chinese medicine is in the Bible now. Doggone right it is. Because when you're treating someone with any kind of, I guess you could say, anxiety or depression, even a stammer, you look to the heart. Because they're speaking, they stutter, yes? They're speaking. So you have to look to the heart. Something is affecting the heart. Thereby it impedes the way that they speak. How do you know? Look at the tip of the tongue. That's where the heart is. But we take it for granted, don't we? We think that we just say anything and nothing happens. Plenty of things happen when we speak. And where we deceive ourselves is because we think that speaking has to be audible. No. The speaking does not have to be audible. It doesn't have to come out of your mouth. No. Your mental mood will dictate the kinds of thoughts that you have. Thoughts do not arise on their own. They follow the mood. If you have dark thoughts, it means your mood is dark. Oh. If you have a Barry White mood, a Marvin Gaye mood, then your words that you utter, whether to yourself or to that person, oh dear, the mood dictates the thoughts influence the speech, and speech directs the actions. But remember, we can't hold a mood for an indefinite amount of time. It is not sustainable. Because everything moves, and to hold the mood is to create stationary, to create static, to create non-movement, and everything must move. So we cannot sustain and suspend it indefinitely. So the workaround is the habit. So what you habitually whisper to yourself where you think nobody hears you. You watch you long enough, you'll know exactly what your mood is. This is what it means when you hear that everything comes to light. This is what it means when you hear you can hide and buy land, but you can't hide and work it. It means that your inner conversation, though invisible, masculine, will take form, feminine. You will embody that inner conversation, my friends. You will embody it. You have infused your words with your mood. So the next time you hear, oh my God, his words cut me to the quick. What? His words cut you to the quick. Honey, his words had to cut him to the quick first. They are projected outward because of the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. So the next time you hear that you're casting spells as you speak, comprehend why. We would call that intent. What is your intention? But you see the word intention. Ugh. has become so worn out. That's why I always recall the story of Jesus talking to Peter. I love a good story. The best kinds of stories are the ones you can read and apply to your life. Ow. So then Jesus said to Peter, Peter, who does the world say that I am? Jesus wasn't asking that question because he was trying to boost his ego. It has nothing to do with ego. He asked the question, who does the world say that I am? I, what words? I am? Hello? It'll make sense in a minute. Oh, but Jesus, the world says you're Elijah come again. You're a prophet come again. You're John the Baptist come again. Jesus replied, well, that's all nice. That's great. Good for them. But who do you say that I am is? Who do you say I am is? Why would I put the word is on there on the end? Because that's what makes it personal for you to apply. Who do you say that you are? What mood have you infused your inner conversation with? Remember, Jesus asked Peter, who do you say I am? See, that's above. Now bring it below. Who do you say I am is? Now you're singular talking about you. Who do you say you are? Every time you open your mouth, you say I am. Or you fill in the blanks because you know what you say about yourself. And the funny thing is you can't sustain that saying and feeling about yourself all day, every day. But you habitually go to it. You have conditioned yourself. I want to say you have habituated yourself. Don't ask me if it's a word. I don't know. I just know it's what you do. You habituate yourself, meaning you put yourself into a particular habit. How do you do it? By doing the same thing the same way every time. I am over. You habituate yourself. And by doing that, you are compelled to keep doing it. Because remember, habits make you efficient at your task. If your task is uplifting yourself, well, then you'll do it with ease. If your task is to browbeat yourself, oh my God, I'm no good. I'm not as good as this person. That person is so much better than me. Oh, so you see yourself as inadequate? Every time you say they're better than me, you are saying I am inadequate. So how do you think you're going to behave? As someone who's adequate? No. Because the words that you have infused with that mental mood of inadequacy cannot return void. Thus, you have to embody inadequate. And the only way to stop being inadequate, first acknowledge that that's what you're saying to yourself in the first place. Sometimes it is irrelevant where you picked it up. You don't need to know where you picked it up. You need to know that you've run with it, though. And that's what you're saying to yourself. Oh my God, I feel inadequate? Huh. What do I want to be instead? Adequate? What does that look like then? To be adequate? Well, look at what inadequate would tell you. You're not good enough. In comparison to, that's what inadequate would mean to you because you're saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as this person. I'm not as well off as that person. So if you're saying that, what do you want to become? What new attitude, mental mood, do you want to embody so that when you speak, you power your life? Well, I am good. I am talented. Yeah, but you can't lie to yourself. Hello. Where are you talented? Because you are. Look for it. So that when you see where you are talented, now you can say, oh, yes, look at the evidence. I am talented. Because remember, you don't speak idle affirmation. Because you're not speaking the affirmation from a place of truth. You're speaking the affirmation from a place of wherever that mental mood is. Thus, it can only become what you empowered it to become. So where are you good? What are you good at? Uh, I'll share something. I've always said, because it was just like Neville, if I speak and there's nobody in that room, am I still heard? Yes. Why am I heard? Because I hear me. So am I being heard? Yes. I am being heard. Because I hear me. Now I want it to be bigger. I want others to hear me. But I am heard, though, because I hear me. That is true. I hear me. And now let's expand. I want others to hear me. And wouldn't you know, we have people from Germany who are here. We have people from France. We have people from the Caribbean. We got people from the States. We got people from Canada. We have people from Italy. I use Google Translator a lot. Because of the people. They don't understand English. So I have to speak to them in a language that they understand, which is theirs. So am I international? Yes. So what do I really want? More ears. So that more people hear the principles. That is what I want. I'm not unheard. Because the first listener is myself. So you see, I can't run around with this false affirmation. Which is why I said, what are you good at? What do you do quite well? Start there. Because then when you say, I do that well, are you lying to yourself? Nope. You're telling yourself the truth. You know what? I'm really good at this thing. I would love for others to see how good I am at it. And then you begin to see in your mind's eye and hear in your mind's ear, oh my God, that is magnificent. You do such a great job. And those words that you say to yourself, because you've changed the mood, have you not? You've changed it from inadequate to adequate. How? By showing yourself where you were adequate. You have to see where you're adequate. But Angela, I'm not adequate at anything. Well, shut more, don't catch flies. So take a moment and reflect. And then you have to ask yourself, why would you say you're not good at anything? Oh, because I don't want to be egotistical. Oh, Lord. Now here we go. So in other words, you've allowed the opinions of other people to tell you what your ego is. Well, I don't want people to judge me and think that I'm arrogant. Oh, you don't want other people to judge you for your arrogance, so you will continue in a state or a mood of non-confidence. Hmm. And how will you act? Not confidently, that's for sure. So, what are you empowering your words with? A lack of confidence. You see, we keep allowing the opinions of others to rule us. And if you keep that up, you'll always be living a state of non confidence because you allow the words of someone else to penetrate you. You see, you and I are always going to be penetrated. But the key is to penetrate oneself first and foremost. Well, how? With the mental mood. So now do you understand why and how words have power? Let's see who's here today. Hey, Cyber. It is good to see you in these YouTube streets. Long time, stranger, long time. Miss Tiffany is here. Hey, Miss Tiffany, say hello to Javion for me. It's good to see you in the Twitter sphere. Twitter always has the replay gang. I'm telling you, it does because I see the numbers. I had to check myself the other day. Oh, yes, I did. I had to check myself. Because, Twitter will show you how many people have listened to your replay or were in the space. And I saw some spaces and they had 1.1K or 500K listeners. And here's mine, 6, sometimes even 4. And I started to pout. I said, "Aw, I only had 6 listeners." And then I remembered, wait a minute. So you feel bad? Did you have listeners? I was like, yes, I did. So what do you want? More listeners. Not that I'm not good enough for somebody to listen to. There's a difference. I had to really catch that because it was so, if you want to give the mood a personality, it was so sly that it slipped in and I didn't see it at first, where I started to feel inadequate. But then I told myself the truth. And I said, wait a minute, 6 people listened to that replay. 6. So what exactly is it that you want, Angela? Because right now I'm telling myself I'm inadequate. Is that true? You drew the conclusion of your inadequacy from 6 listeners? Are you inadequate? I'm like, no. So if I'm not inadequate, what am I looking at here? I'm looking at numbers. So what do I want? Numbers. So what would it be like if you looked at that page one morning and it had 30 listeners, 100 listeners, 300 listeners? What would that feel like to you? And I started to feel within myself what that would feel like. I began to do what? Experience in imagination what I would be doing. Because what would I do? I'd post a picture of that. I would post a photo of it. Why would I post a photo of it? Because that's what I would do. That is the thing that I would do to show myself that, oh my goodness, I did accomplish this task of getting the word out. And then Neville Goddard says you don't have to lift a finger to make it so. What does it mean? The rehearsal of seeing it whichever figure I want to see. The rehearsal of seeing that picture is inevitable so long as I stay faithful to it. Well, the outcome of rehearsal is performance. So do I have to fret and wonder when? Nope. I don't have to fret and wonder when. Then is inevitable. And this is why one does not grow weary. Because you're empowered every day by the knowing that whatsoever I plant, I shall reap. So I don't have to get tired. I don't have to become fatigued or exhausted and want to give up. Because I'm driven by something else. The mental mood. And to always put it in the place I want it to be in. And with that, who's on fan base? Oh, your girl has to scroll. I have to scroll to see who's in fan base this morning. I know Big Mike was here because I spoke to him first thing this morning as he popped into the app. And so he went to work. Who else is here? Ray Ray is in the house. Miss McQueen. Oracle Tree House. I see you. Hello, Michael. And wife. Moon and Dolphin Duck. Summer Rose is in the house. Oh, Cece is in the house. Hey, girl. It is so good to see you. Welcome, my dear darling. KZ. I see you, KZ. Now, who is this person? Business life of a foodie. Wait, is that burnt? Yeah. Welcome, my dear darling. So you see, every day I witness the evidence of people who are coming into contact with the principles. Whether it is someone new who comments under my YouTube videos, the point is, I'm watching it grow. I am watching it. I am watching it unfold. And I'm not lifting a finger. Flo Smiles is, though. Flo Smiles is driven to create content. She just is. Like, she loves what she does. She finds great pleasure in what she does. So when I post these videos and she goes and she cuts them up and she makes smaller videos or shorts out of them and she names them, that's what she loves to do. And she sees all these ideas in her head and she just follows through with them. So you see, every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So because she loves to do what she does, her and I came together. Why? Because that was my desire, to have someone who's good at it to do it. Because quite frankly, I don't want to learn how to do it. Because my time is better spent doing this portion. And so she came along and said, she just came, and I don't even, not, it's not even out of the blue. She was looking to do it, and I was looking for someone. So thus we had to meet. Well, as within, so without. Every cause has its effect. And with as much fervor, remember the rhythm compensates, the intensity with which I felt the need to do it is the intensity with which she does it. So who's doing what? Two became one. She became me, I became her. I tell you, the principles are everywhere. And they all stem from that internal mood and then the way you speak to yourself. You are infusing your life. You are either speaking life into your existence or not life into your existence. Hello? And it is your mental mood that will cause you to speak, whether audibly or inaudibly. But you will speak. Think about it. If you could not physically speak because you were mute, dumb, right? And you couldn't speak. Are you not speaking to yourself in your head? There you got it. You're always speaking to yourself. Day in and day out. Some of us talk to ourselves more than others. I won't call any names. Oh, snap. I'm talking about me, y'all. Oh, nice. Thank you, Ray Ray. Cece, can you send me that link as a DM, please? Because if I click on it right now, the room will close. Please and thank you. Um, but that's where I'll leave you this morning. Words do have power, but only the power that you infuse them with. So where then does the power come from? The words or the person infusing? The person infusing is who is infusing the words. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you all for being here, and I shall see you again tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Fanbase. Peace out, everyone. Peace out.